Do you believe in ghosts, Marcus?
No, sorry, wrong time. Got in the yawn. I'm gonna try again. So I was watching Shrek at work the other day.
Okay. How often do you guys put on Shrek?
Not that often. This was the first time,
Okay.
and we watched 4 of them
All 4 of them at once?
all in a row. You know,
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean,
I wish.
Add 4 different screens. That would be
sick.
I
No
mean-
one would do anything. We would just like, I don't know what movie to watch. Let's 4 different ones. But I was thinking, like, I wonder how hardcore like the Japanese dub of Shrek sounds to us
I
non.
don't know.
You know, I've never thought about that, but then I was just thinking, I was like, man, I bet there's some scenes in this that just go hard. The Japanese one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I don't know much about Japanese dubs of anything really, but like,
Have you seen the King of the Hill one?
well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is I know that they always use like local, like everyone who's like voicing a Western character is like famous in Japan for voicing something else,
Yeah.
or whatever. Like they're always like names to Japanese people. Like this guy, the guy who hosted whatever game show for 20 years, or some prominent radio personality. Like they're never just like randos.
Yeah. No, I thought you were going somewhere with that.
No, that's it. I was just gonna say that.
Yeah. I'm like, I want to look it up sometime, but I'm afraid it's just gonna be too good, and I could ever go back to the original Shrek. I don't want
Yeah.
to lose that. This kid at work tried to say that. I think I said this already. That Shrek was a cult classic.
I mean,
I was like, no.
it made a gajillion billion
Yeah,
dollars.
it was like
I
they
don't
made
know if
like
it's a cult
8 sequels.
classic.
I don't know if you understand what cult classic means. He's like, yeah, it didn't really get popular until a couple years later. It's like the next year there's 2. Not really.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I remember, like we had the DVD, the VHS, the soundtrack, and the sheet music for that movie.
Shrek 2 on DVD. Have you ever seen the Danzig shopping list?
Yeah, I forgot about that with the kitty litter. That's been a minute.
Yeah, I feel like
Thought about that one.
did like Shrek battle like one of the new Star Wars at the box office?
It might have. The first one might have been. Maybe. I don't remember.
I mean,
Because I didn't see Revenge of the Sith in theaters when it came out. So.
April 22nd, 2001. What a great day. And then
Wait, Revenge of the Sith, or was
that's
that?
Shrek.
That was Shrek. Okay, so that would have been Clones, Attack of the Clones, maybe. Oh, that was 2002. So I
So
don't
maybe
think so. Must have been maybe Shrek 2 and Attack of the Clones came out the same.
Shrek 2 was 2004, so no.
That could have been Return of the Revenge of the Sith then.
Revenge of the Sith, May. Not 2005?
Oh, weird.
What?
Okay.
No.
There is no Shrek Star Wars overlap.
I was in high school when that happened?
Yeah.
No way. I feel like Attack of the Clones is May 16th. Wow. So Attack of the Clones has the Palpatine Yoda fight scene, right?
No, that's Revenge of the Sith. The Yoda Count Dooku fight scene is in Attack of the Clones.
Oh, you're right. That was sick. I thought that was cool.
That's the one that had the Yoda Man ads on TV.
I didn't live in America at the time, so I didn't get to see those. But I did see the Crazy Frog all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
Do-do-do-do-do.
speaking of which, I saw. I watched all 3 of the Beverly Hills Cop movies.
Those are great movies.
Yeah, the first 2 are great movies. The third one is not.
Is the third one the counterfeiting one, or is that the second? That's the second one, right?
That's the third one.
Is the third? The second one is the Nazi Gold.
Nazi Gold. The second one is. I'm trying to remember. No, the second one they're smuggling weapons, and the first one it's cocaine. If we're talking about the quote crime that is being committed, I don't remember any of them having Nazi gold.
They're like the German like counterfeit. No.
The Germans are the ones with the arms dealing in the second
Yeah.
one. The counterfeiters are like the ones in the Disney
Yeah,
one.
is this the third one? Okay.
Yeah.
It's really the story of
That was a whack
Leo
movie.
Getz. You know, he really is like the catalyst to all those movies.
Who's Leo Getz?
Who's Leo Getz? I don't know. You just watched all 3 of those movies.
Is he in it?
Yeah. It's Joe Pesci. It's his character.
Joe Pesci isn't in Beverly Hills Cop.
What the fuck?
We're talking about Eddie Murphy,
Yeah.
right? I mean, there's Eddie Murphy, Judge Reinhold, that other guy, him.
Oh, I'm thinking of. I just crossed wires between that and God, what can I think of the name of it? I'm getting too old for this.
Oh, Lethal Weapon.
Yeah. Somehow those wires got crossed.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
fair. I haven't
Jesus.
seen. I saw the first Lethal Weapon many years ago. I haven't actually went back to rewatch them. I don't know. Maybe I should.
They get good, and then they just get over the top.
Yeah. Well, like the reason I watched the Beverly Hills Cop movies because they're making that new
They
one,
are.
so I wanted to, or that one was gonna come out pretty soon, I think. So I wanted to get all caught up before I watched that, lovely piece of film.
I don't know how it's going to be. I mean, I think Axel's theme is one of the greatest. I don't know, character. What do you call that?
Themes.
Is that just what you call it? Character theme?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like watching all of them in sequence that they did. The first movie uses it a couple times, and then the second movie is like, that's you're watching this movie for Axel's theme,
Yeah.
right? So they just play it like constantly, like basically every time someone's not talking, they play it, which makes for a pretty good movie. And then the third one, they're like afraid to use it, like they almost never use it. Possibly because like Nile Rodgers did the score for the third one, and I think they were like, he wanted to do his own thing and not just reuse music from the first 2 movies. So it's a bit of a letdown. Also, like Eddie Murphy isn't like trying to be funny at all in the third one. Like he's like, I'm a serious action star. And you're like, no, I mean maybe, but you're not. This is Beverly Hills Cop. Also, like the whole the climax of the film occurs at a
Which one are we talking about?
theme
3?
park that
Yeah.
is 3. Sorry, so it's supposed to be about like
Wally's World.
it's supposed to be like a Disney World. Yeah, exactly. So they have this fake Disney World, like it's a small world theme that plays constantly in the amusement park, and they actually got the Sherman Brothers like out of retirement to make the fake music for the fake Disneyland. The Sherman Brothers being like the people who wrote like all of the Disney music you remember from like the back in the day stuff. Like they wrote "It's a Small World" and they wrote all the music for Mary Poppins and Bedknobs and Broomsticks and like half the animated movies and all that jazz. Like they actually, it's just interesting. They put a lot of effort into this movie.
I mean, it was a big sure it was a big budget movie.
Yeah, but guess what year that came out? Guess what year the third Beverly Hills Cop movie came out?
Oh, you want me to guess?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say late 80s to early 90s.
Yeah, it came out in 1994.
Oh wow, I was alive.
Yeah.
When did the first one
Yeah,
come out?
I mean, the first one came out, I don't know, in the 80s. My point is, it's not a 90s thing, Beverly Hills Cop, You can't
no, it definitely
just...
seems
The
like,
90s
yeah.
started taking everything too seriously. Maybe that's why Eddie Murphy's playing it so serious, but, like, the 90s was, like, the Lethal Weapon and Die Hard. Die Hard was the 80s, but you know what I mean. Like, action movies got much more serious in the 90s than they were in the
I
80s.
feel like the first Lethal Weapon is way.
Well, that's true. It kind of went the other way, but I guess. I don't know, I
87
haven't
for the first
seen
Lethal
it.
Weapon. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, Lethal Weapon is pretty silly and goofy. Wow, they just cranked those Lethal Weapons out.
Yeah. So I know, like in, but I want to say Demolition Man came out at the same time as Lethal Weapon 3, and Demolition Man came out in like 91. So that's like 4 years later. They've made 3 movies. It's like Marvel pacing.
Well, I mean, back then they didn't have multiverses to go off of. They were just like, we got one movie, 10 people liked it, let's go again.
Yeah. Something for that.
I mean, I feel like the Lethal Weapon series is Loved and respected, so mostly.
Respected, I don't know. Loved, yeah, probably.
Leo Getz.
It's not like, it's not like I don't know. There are action movies from back in the 80s, 90s that are like, seen as being cinema now, like your Die Hards and your The Rock and stuff like that. But I don't know if that Lethal Weapon ends up on a lot of those lists.
No, I've always considered it like an action comedy.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. As soon as you mix two genres like that, it kind of
just becomes comedy.
Yeah. Let's get into this game. Welcome to the Save State. This is a podcast where we play a video game and talk about the video game we played. I'm Marvid.
Woo! I'm Marcus.
Energy.
Wake yourself up
yeah, fair. We're playing Aberration Analyst, a game that you picked.
I did pick it.
And why? What brought you to this game? It's a little indie game. It's out on Steam. It's $5. Where did you find it, and why are we playing it?
Obviously I must have found it on Steam. One of those little like for you things or whatever it is, where it's like, you think you'll like this game.
So the algorithm
brought me this game, and now brought it to the internet through this medium. Yeah. Maybe Steam is becoming sentient and has some plans that we're not aware of. This is part of this
probably.
Plan. But it looked really interesting.
Yeah, I think it certainly it looks pretty. It sells itself pretty well. Excuse me. What did you think this game was going to be going into it?
I'm trying to think of like something like a game kind of like. I thought it was going to be a little more detective-y.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little more involved. But no, it's pretty much one screen with a couple menus, and you read the newspaper.
Yeah, so it's kind of like this. It's almost more like a math game than like an actual. I mean, I don't say it's math, and all games are math, but I mean, like it feels like you're seeing the math, like the ones and zeros a little bit more easily through this game, because like the
I guess this is gonna have to. I mean, you can't really spoil anything in this game. It's from the get-go. You know what you're doing. So. You're hunting a vampire, a werewolf, a coven of witches, a ghost, and a Wendigoon. You gotta find all 5.
Yeah. And like it's like a deduction puzzle partially, and you have to like you have like recruits you send out who have different skills, and you have a certain amount of money. Anyway, it ends up like if you just kind of boil down the premise is kind of, I guess, X-Files-y. Like you're supposed to you have a certain amount of money, and you need to discover these things before you run out of money. And every time you get a hint, every time you find a clue, you get some money. But every time you send your troops out or your agents out, you lose money. And it's basically just like a turn limiter, and you're supposed to find all of the bad guys before you run out of money or all your agents die. Almost once you kind of strip away some of like the trappings of this game, it kind of becomes almost like a board game in its simplicity, and like a simple board game. I mean, like,
Yeah, I mean,
Clue.
We do have
something
a board that you work off of, so
yeah. But like everything is like this. The style of the game is like old school. I don't know what you call it, like no-bit art, where it's like this monochrome green and black, like an old monitor.
Yeah. Did you experience like how weird everything looked after playing this game? Like the real world,
everything
was like
in the room
slightly
was
purple.
Like weirdly pink.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was just like, I was like, oh my god, what's going?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that too, because I wrote that down. Like I was like, I ever played this game for an hour or two, like everything in the world was just weirdly pink.
Yeah, it was the first time I like cracked it open. I didn't know there was like not a tutorial, but a tutorial tab. So I was just going at. Yeah, I didn't know.
I didn't know there was a tutorial tab at all.
I didn't find that out till like, I don't know, 8 or so runs through of just, why am I running out of money? And it's like, oh, every day. It's just ending the day costs you money, I guess. But
yeah.
But first time I played it, I kind of was like, oh man, I picked a dud. But then like once you kind of figure out what you're actually supposed to do, it is like, you're like that guy with the cork board, like, there's a Wendigoon over here, guys. I know it. See the signs.
Yeah, so every time you find a clue, you get. So this is how it makes it a bit of a roguelike. You get like a bit of lore, like your lore book fills up. There's like 50 items of lore you can get, and that carries over between runs. So even if you have an unsuccessful run, you get a few clues. You can get some hints for how things work, and those hints are things like, Well, so first of all, I should mention like how you start looking for things. You every day you get a stack of tabloids, and those tabloids have headlines, and they give a location and an event and a person, and you have to like figure out which ones are real monsters and which ones are like just fake headlines or tabloid fodder. And initially that's almost impossible, but as you play, you get more lore, which helps you out, like kind of suss those headlines out. Yeah, but also like you just kind of get used to like things that you see. Like anytime I see someone say abducted by aliens, I'm like, no, this is not important. But every time I see someone drained of blood, I'm like, oh yeah,
drained of blood. There's a horde of rats.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care. I don't know why they put it in the game. Then every time I saw blah 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 899 spiders, yeah, I'm sending somebody. I'm sending. I know it's gonna be a waste, but
yeah. So it's all randomly generated. So it's like they'll have like person, occupation, activity, location, and sometimes it's gonna be like things like, yeah. So you have things that like it'll be like man eats 99 rats in basement, and then sometimes it's like and then sometimes it's just like lawyer confronts minister in living room, and you're like.
That does happen a lot, yeah. It's like well-to-do preacher.
Yeah, exactly. Well-to-do preacher found after missing in forest or something like that. So like you're supposed to use these hints to help figure out where these locations are. You send a team out to that location. They find a clue or they don't. You can kind of mark the locations on your map to kind of, because some creatures will like stay near an area and they have different movement patterns, which is another thing you figure out as you play. And you can kind of use those clues to narrow things down, and eventually it becomes, I don't want to say it becomes easy, but it kind of becomes like, okay, we got a vampire here, this is going to be a Wendigo, this is going to be a witch or whatever. And it's pretty fun. I haven't actually managed to do a full run of getting all of them, but I've done enough that I've gotten like 2 or 3 of the same run, and I'm content with that.
Yeah, it's got to be like either really lucky or like you're really good at the game to get all 5, I think, without blowing your budget.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, it's got like a lot of like an arcadey roguelike aspect to it, even though like I think like you said, I think I was kind of expecting something closer to like a point and click adventure game, more narratively focused. But like the thing it actually reminded me of the most, and this is probably something we can kind of go off from and babble about, explore. It reminded me of old Flash games, like
yeah, I can see that. Definitely does have
the great art form of our youth.
The simplicity and feel of something like that, where it's just like
I could totally see something like this like becoming really popular in like the computer lab at school, where it's just like it's simple, you can kind of explain it to your friends, but like they still aren't going to necessarily know how to do it right off the bat.
Yeah, it definitely takes.
You're going to kind of like, there's stuff that you'll be like, oh, I found this thing. You're like, whoa, I never saw that. It's a really small little game.
Very small.
Like physically, yeah. Takes up
temporally as well
70 megs or something like that. You can probably fit it on your toaster these days. I did find it a little buggy sometimes, which also is part of maybe what made it feel like a Flash game to me. Like I had some things where like one thing was after I finished a run and I failed, and then I'd start another run, the roster from my failed run would carry over.
Oh, so you'd still have like your deads.
Yeah, exactly. So if I had 8 dead people and like a couple of them that I promoted,
handicap, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd be like, okay, so I had to exit the game and then reboot the game back up every time I failed a run for some reason. And sometimes tabs would just stay up and I wouldn't be able to move them away, or things would get stuck on screen. Like it's just a little buggy.
The tab
like,
where like the bottom little town information tab you're talking about. Yeah, that one did seem like it was had a mind of its own.
Yeah.
And there's so many times. I mean, this is probably a me thing, less of a game thing, but where I'd be like, because another thing you can do is you have a computer, even though this game takes place in like 1984 or something, 87,
85, I think. Yeah.
You have a computer with unfettered internet access, kind of, and you can look up a town's police reports and their not morgue reports. What do you call that? Autopsy reports. Yeah, but you'd be like meaning to investigate one town, but you were clicked on the wrong town by accident, and you gotta pay like it's not a decent chunk of money. It's definitely less than like what it costs to send a crew out there. Yeah, so many times I would buy the police reports and something for a town and be like, that's $3,500 I'm never gonna get back.
Yeah, no, and like half the time I didn't find them very useful. They were just kind of useful. Like I think like the mechanic is supposed to be like, well, you read the headline and then you can read the police report before you like commit to sending a crew out, you know. But to send a crew out, it's something like, without a specialist. Like if you're just like the cheapo guys, you can get it down to like $7,000.
Wait, you spend way too much money. $4,000.
Oh yeah, you can get a real little cheap if you.
I'm sending the cheapest guys 100% of the time. I'm not wasting money.
Yeah, but like, right. So, but like the police reports it's like
1,000 for the police,
the autopsy
is for 25 for the police reports. Yeah.
Yeah.
The autopsy. Yeah.
So it's like, it doesn't feel worth it ever because you're just like, well, I could spend $1,000 and more and just have it all.
I can
out
see it if you're like thinking about like maybe I need to send a specialist because those guys are like not cheap.
No, exactly. But I don't. I mean, like I feel like there's something really interesting here, but I feel like it's a little
undercooked.
Bare.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't know. Like, is this like a team or did just like one dude make this in their basement?
I honestly don't know. It gives me like one dude.
It
vibes.
definitely does.
I guess
like some guy watched a lot of X-Files, then just like, I've got an idea.
The developer is named Schmidt Workshops. It's a one-man outfit.
Yeah, I mean, you go Schmidt.
Just one fella. Yeah.
Oh, working in Chicago. Oh, you got games.
Yeah. I mean, old man, this website's cool. I love this old website.
Yeah, it looks like he's just making.
But yeah, no. So this is definitely interesting.
You go Schmidt.
Yeah. This game, Islands of the Caliph, looks pretty cool. It's got like a old school like Daggerfall vibe to it, or maybe
definitely that does. Oh, look at you, Schmidt.
So yeah, I mean, like, I get, and that's also maybe part of why it feels like a Flash game to me, is the indie-ness of it. I mean, that's a thing. Like before, like indie games became a big thing, in like the early 2010s when Steam and all those other kind of outfits, like you just make a game and sell it, and it became really easy for indie developers to be a thing. And for a lot of our childhoods, there wasn't really a thing ever.
Oh yeah, it was too expensive. For people to have like the equipment.
Yeah, I mean, if you were like a small-time developer who had like a weird idea, you kind of like needed to like wait for Sony or someone to just be like, yeah, we'll give you money to make this, because that's the only way it's ever going to get out, Or like unless you go even further back and then you're passing around floppies on your like Amiga or something like that. So like the indie games of my youth,
Flash games
were Flash games. We were going to Newgrounds and
look at these sticks
like
fight.
Yeah, exactly. It's always, I mean, if I were to imagine a Flash game like the Flash game, the prototypical Flash game, it is a basic fighting / platformer with sticks, or like a weird girl game where you like pet a horse and like dye its hair or something.
Honestly,
like that. Like
I played a lot of like, that's probably where like my love of point and click comes from. It was like a lot of like kind of escape room style, but insanely massive for like just like some guy making it for free, like they'd be like 30-minute games.
I remember I used to play Flash games, especially on Newgrounds, like all the time. Anytime I had like, if I couldn't be playing a regular game like on like, my computer and I had access to a computer, I would just go to Newgrounds as like default. But the website I actually remember most playing Flash games on was Homestar Runner. I think the cartoons are something that everyone remembers. Like the Flash. I mean, that was the other thing. Flash was also like video and cartoons and stuff. It was an amazing little thing. But like most of those were just like old arcade games that had been redone for Flash. But except for like the massive King's Quest clone called Peasant's Quest that they made, which I think is probably the thing I remember the most from the Flash game era.
Yeah. I never played any of the Homestar one. God, I wonder how rich that guy is, and I'm just gonna be mad if I ever Google it.
The Homestar
yeah.
guys? I don't know.
Probably
I
filthy.
mean, they're just
filthy rich.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. It's not like they have like a big movie deal or something like that.
I feel like
they made those video games, like the Telltale ones, and I know one of them went on to write for like Nickelodeon or Disney or one of those.
Uh-oh.
Like he worked on Gravity Falls, but I don't think
Gravity
they're
Falls?
like rolling in it by any means. Yeah.
Was it?
I know they're like tight with like a lot of those weirdo Georgia types.
Was this like before like people were able to just like juice money out of the internet?
Don't know what you mean by that.
I guess like nowadays like you can just like make a shitty YouTube and like overnight you're a multi-billionaire, you know?
Oh yeah, I mean like the Homestar Runner people, there was no advertising on their website, right? There's no like there was never like they made all their money in merch sales. Like that's how they kept things going, was like people buying t-shirts and coffee cups and stuffed animals. Like that was where all of their income came from, at least initially. I'm sure later on they got, because I know they did a music video for They Might Be Giants. I don't know if they made any money off of that. So I don't think that they were like extremely wealthy out of it. Like there was no like licensing deals or anything like that. Like if I remember correctly, they were even like shipping their merch like themselves out of their basement and stuff like that. Like,
apparently $27,000 for the website.
What?
Apparently homestarrunner.com. The URL is worth $27,000.
What do you mean it's worth?
I don't know, man. I
$27,000?
googled Homestar Runner net worth, and that's like the first thing that came up was like, how much is this URL worth?
Do you mean the net worth of the character Homestar Runner?
Matt Chapman. There we go.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's related to Tracy.
I don't think so. But I mean, that's a good point. I mean, like it used to be that you could have cultural significance without necessarily being like a really wealthy person. And I still think that's true. Like,
yeah.
Not every, YouTuber makes money off of their thing, and not everything that goes viral is, directly attributable to the person who made the.
Yeah, but I feel like
content
nowadays it definitely is. Anything goes viral, like people make some money off of it. I don't know why.
Well, I mean that's entirely based off of like advertising revenue via YouTube, essentially. I mean, I'm sure nowadays Homestar would have a Patreon or something like that, but like it's not like
they didn't.
There's people just
kind of stuff back then,
showing up to give them money,
They didn't have like any ads on their website at all, even like little.
Never, no. I mean, they owned their website. They bought that thing in like 1999. It started out as like a bid to make like a children's book, if I'm not mistaken. Like it was like, if going back into my brain, like I think it had something to do with the Atlanta Olympics. Like it was supposed to be like a children's book based around the like Olympic Games, which is why he's like a Homestar Runner. Like he was supposed to be like a athlete thing, and then it span off into not a children's book.
What we know now.
Although I think they probably have written children's books by this point, because I think one of them also wrote for Yo Gabba Gabba after the website died, or at least went dormant, I guess. I know a lot more about Homestar Runner apparently than I thought I did.
What's going on here? Have you been writing a book? A little history lesson on the early days of the internet culture. Well, I guess not early.
Yeah.
I guess the teenage era.
Yeah, exactly. Back when there were websites and it wasn't just, social media with things attached to them.
Yeah, I don't even know what a website is anymore.
I found a great website. So when my primary hard drive died in my computer a few weeks ago, I lost a lot of. I did all the important stuff I saved. I had backups for that, but some of like the less important stuff I lost, like all of my desktop backgrounds, which were mostly just lame, like crap I'd collected, like hockey crap. It wasn't very cool. Every time I boot up a computer, I'm like, I need to get a different selection of backgrounds because this is depressing. And I found in my bookmarks an old website I used to go to for wallpaper, and I'd forgotten about it completely.
Wallpaper.com?
Called visualparadox.com.
Visual Paradox.
It is old school. It's lots of like old render art.
I like that old
like
render
steampunk stuff, but also like, fantasy stuff and like that weird thing where everything was ninjas for a minute, and like it's like just this guy does like renders of stuff.
Oh,
he's been doing it since like the 90s.
This is Hypnospace Outlaw and slipped out into the real world.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe Hypnospace Outlaw had some real world inspirations.
No.
But yeah, it's definitely like I love it. I downloaded like a bunch of stuff from the website from.
Oh wow, that's a good one. It's an outhouse with a Jeep. That's a weird one. That was like a lady
naturalistic, I guess.
Hugging a robot. Oh hell yeah! Look at that spaceship jettisoning cargo.
Yeah. Nothing says audio medium like looking at pictures.
We gotta really change the mold.
So what do you think? Weight game?
I think it's weight game. I actually once I got into it. I literally did feel like the crazy guy with the cork board. Like, I know there's a vampire over here. And you're following the Wendigoon around town to keep on moving.
Yeah, I mean, I also, like, after a few runs, I got really into it. But, like, I think my response, like, the way my brain was thinking about it was more like solitaire, almost. Like, oh, I just got to get the right run together and see if I can get this done, Like, it's just, like, it was more keying into, like, my arcadey part of my brain rather than, like, my role-playing narrative.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't, like, role-playing. I wasn't really thinking about, oh, I'm hunting monsters. I was like, oh, this thing's here. It's kind of like a deduction game, exactly. I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, it's certainly worth a $5. It's
$5. All right, Sherlock. Quid, eh?
I mean, you could say $5 in America. It's not like it's only a British thing.
You get shot. Just get shot. Doesn't matter where you are.
Okay. I mean, every other piece of American currency has a nickname.
All right, let's go. Let's hear one.
You got, I mean, okay, so C-note Benjamins for $100 bills, and you can call 20s Hamiltons.
So you're just naming the presidents. It's on them.
Yeah, I mean, a big part of that is, I guess no one calls 5s Lincolns, though.
Look at Lincoln.
That'd be weird. I guess it's because, maybe is it because Lincoln's also on the penny, so no one's like, it's too confusing.
I can't remember the last time I saw a penny outside of just one being on the ground.
Yeah, I don't know. Just waste metal.
Oh no, it's literally just like if the change requires a penny in America, they just round up.
Oh, yeah, they finally do it.
They're just like, fuck that shit, we're done. Like,
yeah, no, Sweden's been doing that for a long time. We don't even Sweden used to have öre, which were like cents to the crown. So the crown is like 10 cents essentially. It's like it's 10 crowns to the dollar, more or less. So we got rid of the desk because it was like literally like a penny.
Yeah.
So
it's not. Yeah, every place hates them. A lot of places will they'll basically round up to the quarter because they're just like, eh.
I think that's I think that's fair, very fair these days. Although also in Sweden, like no one takes cash anymore. So
it's definitely just the old people that are Oh, I got my money. I don't got my money in my safe. Just collecting interest.
I mean, even if you go to like a farmer's market here, everyone's got like
little swipe things,
like Venmo, they call it Swish here, but it's the same thing essentially.
No, it's a really fun game. It's a quick, 20-30 minute run, I'd say. Well, I don't know honestly what a full run is. Maybe even longer.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe there's some unlocks we don't know.
Good for like a long run, yeah.
Oh, that's with like.
I didn't unlock the full lore book, I don't remember it telling me any secrets, but that doesn't mean there aren't more.
Yeah, maybe there's actually like a first-person mode.
Yeah, it's actually like an XCOM game built in there. You
know what? But I'm a fan of Schmidt. I like what he's doing. It looks like he's got some cool work going on. And he likes to sell cheap games on the internet.
Yeah, I like cheap games on the internet. I like games. That's why I have a podcast about video games. All right, so moving on to news. I have like no news.
Yeah, I don't know anything about video games.
Yeah.
Have you heard of this? Have you heard of them?
No, there just isn't that much going on right now. A lot of it's just
you had your
continued
big
fallout
thing
from
whatever that's called.
Elden Ring.
Yeah, I was gonna say your video game show.
Yeah, well, that
Video game
that was a
draft.
while ago.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, there's a new Resident Evil coming out in the future.
Is it a new, or are they just doing like another? Are they gonna remaster a game?
No, they actually. Well, first of all, they actually are going to be putting out some like the original first 3 in like their OG format soon. But no, I meant they're making an actual new Resident Evil, like 9 or whatever they're on now. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's exciting.
What else is? I guess that's the thing. Is like there was so much stuff that happened in the weeks leading up to the previous episode that they just don't have as much stuff that's happened since then. The Steam Summer Sale is on right now.
Oh no!
Those things are inexpensive things to buy on Steam right now, if you wish.
I remember being real broke a lot of times in my life. Just browse the free section on Steam for like an hour.
I wish I had that experience, cause like I feel like that would make me much more in touch with the young people these days, you know.
Oh no, that's a lot what it is. Yeah, I'm not gonna. God, there's one game that I really wanted. It's not free though, but it definitely has that. This is what the kids are thinking vibe to it, where you're like a frog, but it's kind of like. Oh wait, do you know what I'm talking about?
Hey, you're talking about Frog Fractions?
Is that what? Oh no, but that is a good game.
That is a good game. That's a good free game. Frog Fractions.
No, this is not a free
Definitely
game.
recommend Frog Fractions. Also, the hat DLC, you got to get the hat DLC.
Amazing Frog Quest for the Magical Mystery Toilet.
Is this like an endorsement? Should we play this for the podcast?
I definitely couldn't. Oh,
you all right?
I'm trying to think if I can run it. It is on sale.
Oh man, this looks
great.
It's an early access. So it was released in 2014. It is still in early access. Although it was updated as recently as last week, so I don't fucking know what is going on with this game.
Yeah, I don't even know what. It looks great.
Someone has 187 hours in this game in the Steam reviews. Okay, so maybe we should stop talking about this in case we end up doing this for the podcast. This is some Gen Z jank right here.
Well, 2014. That's us.
I guess, yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, we were adult, and that's post college us, right?
Yeah, that's the silliest of our uses.
Is that one? That one is silliest?
No, I guess right now, really.
Yeah, maybe. So I've been playing a game.
Oh, you're.
I'm just gonna
going that
go ahead and
far
talk.
already.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Unless you got something else you wanna bring up, but I have actually quite a bit to talk about with the game I played this week. I've been playing Workers and Resources: Soviet Republic.
Is that one of those like phone idle games?
No, it's it's the Dark Souls of city builders,
Okay.
I guess. I would say. Like, I don't mean that. I mean, in the sense that it is obtuse and difficult for no apparent reason. I have been enjoying it immensely. It sucks and I hate it, but I like it a lot in the sense that, like, you know, most city builders, you plop down a building, you put, like, you know, fire stations, you build like some houses, you get money, all that jazz. This game has like simulated construction times, simulated resources, simulated workers. So like every building takes time to build. Mm-hmm. It requires resources that you need to have. It requires workers on site to build it, and it requires
resources,
vehicles to move those resources to the construction site.
Huh.
And there's also like power and water and sewage, and every sewage line requires like pumps. Water lines require purifiers. Electrical lines require substations and transformers. and all those things cost resources, which thus need to be delivered to the location with all those workers to build everything. So this is like, it's not even so much a city builder as it is like a logistics simulator.
Yeah.
Like every time you're thinking about building something, you have to like plan out every step that goes before it. Like, do I have water here? Do I have the resources that can be brought here? Do I have the trucks that can carry? And it's not just like there's one truck. There is like myriad different vehicles that are there to, like, you have to have a cement mixer if you need to bring cement. Like, you can't bring that in any other vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you need something built, you need asphalt poured. You need one of those asphalt pouring things. You can't just, you know, have guys throw it out of a wheelbarrow. Like, it's a whole
urban planning.
It's very granular.
City management.
And yeah, and it's I love it. It's very fun. It's also like the setting's also kind of fun. It kind of reminds me of Tropico, except instead of being like
tropical paradise,
like a dictator in the Caribbean, you're like a breakaway Soviet republic kind of a thing. A lot of fun. Having a lot of fun with it. But one thing that's interesting about it is that it has all of this granularity. Like, you have like simulated education, simulated like garbage removal. You can simulate, like, you actually have to have demolition crews come around to destroy buildings, and then those demolition crews need to have like
cleanup crew,
explosives to blow up things, and they also need to have a place to bring the rubble. So like you can get really
in depth,
granular with it, but also you can turn all that off when you start a new game and just play it like a regular city simulator. And that kind of, I mean, so my point is like right now there's a big discussion going on in the greater world of video games, and I kind of wanted to wait until to Mike to have this, but he's going through a lot right now, and I feel like it's most pertinent to kind of, I don't know how pertinent it'll be in a week or two. How about that?
Okay.
And I kind of think that it's okay to have games with multiple difficulty levels. Like right now there's a lot of people complaining that Elden Ring is too hard, and I frankly do not click with it at all. I think it's very hard and I don't like it.
You know what you have to do, right?
Yeah, I get it, but I just don't
good.
want to. Right, but like at the same time, like I've been playing city builders my entire life, so playing this game with all the simulated crap turned on, like, it's fun for me because I've been playing it this way for a long, long time. And I'm not saying every game needs to have, like, the ability to turn things off and on, but, like, it doesn't make it a weaker game
if it's easy.
If you do that, you know? Like, I don't think it makes it a worse game. I also respect every developer who doesn't want to do that either. Like, I don't think that it means that you are a cruel game developer. You know, there are certainly easier Souls-like games out there.
The whole point of the Souls kind of games is that they're insanely difficult, kind of. That's the point, right?
Yeah, I think that's
supposed
certainly
to be, like,
a big
brutal.
part of the point. Yeah. And like I think this game would suffer somewhat for not having the difficulty because like
that would just
I think
be
that's
like
what makes this
a
game
skin
interesting
on a Sims game, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
no, I don't think it necessarily cheapens a game.
I think there's room for both.
Yeah, it doesn't definitely cheapen a game if you have like the ability to turn off an aspect that's a little too difficult for your average player. But I don't think they should just like do games still. I remember like, do games still have like a difficulty mode at the start? I don't know. I haven't played them.
Well, I mean that's the thing. Most games do. Elden Ring and the Souls-likes famously do not.
Yeah.
Like you have like different class. You can start like there is like classes that are much harder to play at the beginning. But other than that, it's just you just go in hard. And you know I think that's. I mean, I guess the problem is it's more of like they're just so big right now. People feel like they're missing out, and I certainly do.
Because they can't.
Like this game,
play it, yeah.
I find these games very difficult, and I guess the other part is I don't find that they're rewarding enough to make the difficulty
worth it,
interesting for me. Like they're very ugly. Everything's ugly, and everyone talks like an asshole, and like I don't want to deal with that. Like it's just all the characters sound like they are like D&D RPing for like the first time. Like I don't know. It's just bad dialogue and ugly art and bad story. Yeah, exactly. Like prithee, unsullied, telleth me about the sword or whatever, and it's just I don't fucking like shut up, go away. Like I don't find any of it interesting. I guess. is part of the problem. They should do a sci-fi Dark Souls. I'd probably play that.
I'm trying to think if isn't like Returnal supposed to be kind of like that?
I don't even know what that is.
I think it's supposed to be insanely difficult. That's the point of it. Everyone says it's a good game on Steam.
I don't know of any of those. Oh, this game. I have this game.
You have it?
Ah! Yeah, I got it in a humble bundle.
Yeah, some guy said the only reason he gave it a downvote is because it's insanely difficult. So, well, it sounds like you're a bitch.
It's like, to me, I guess it's the thing with Dark Souls. It's just like people are always like, it's hard, it's good, all that jazz. They just sound like those people who like put extra super hot habanero sauce on everything because like
it's because they don't have a personality.
Yeah, exactly. I guess that's kind of why.
Yeah. Well, I like hot sauce. Like, okay, buddy, cool. Like, it's like the same. It's like the beard people, you know. You know, I'm talking about people like
the beard people.
They grow a beard and like that's it. That's it. They don't need anything else in life. Like, they bring it up all the time. Their beard. You've never met one of these people?
No, I don't think I
have. It's just they're the same people as the hot sauce people. It's like they forgot to have a personality, and so one day they were looking in the store, and either they saw a beard comb or a bottle of hot sauce, and that's what they chose. You know,
these are masculine enough, but also very low effort.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'd like Tabasco. That's for pussies. I only drink Uncle George's anal cleanser.
See, previous generations they had like car guys and like radio guys. Now we just have hot sauce guys.
Hot sauce guys, bacon people,
Dark Souls guys. I feel like the bacon people are all dead. Like they all just had heart attacks. I don't think there's many bacon people left.
Thank God that fat ended. Because that was like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Why it happened.
Well, the other thing with the bacon thing is like it became like such like
it was like a cultural phenomenon. It was.
Yeah, except for a couple of years, like you were worried, like you could have extended family members who would buy you like bacon flavored soap. Yeah, for like your birthday, like, no. And you would just be like, "Why did you do this?"
Oh, got you some bacon underwear. Why? I don't even get it. Like, I've never thought bacon was. I mean, it's good, but not like personality. Never will any pillar of my personality be based off a flavor I enjoy. Outside of like mint chocolate chip, you know.
Yeah, I think there's also like there's phases. Like frequently like a hot sauce guy will pupate into like a duct tape guy.
Oh, you know? I remember duct tape. Like, I hope they don't still exist.
I think duct tape guys are kind of
they're always
like
going to be in high school.
Like the last generation are all kind of too old to have like presences, but like the next generation of duct tape guys are coming up. They're like, I don't know, they're probably not even duct tape guys. They're like do-it-yourself survivalist YouTube or TikTokers or something, you know.
God, I forgot about duct tape guys. God, they probably shut up so many schools.
Yeah, I think if I was if I was closest to ending up of any of those guys, duct tape guy would have been like near the rabbit hole I would have fallen down. But I mean, not that I did, but I mean, like of those,
close. That
is the one that had the most gravitational pull, I guess.
Yeah, man. It starts with first you make a duct tape wallet.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Well, I can make anything with duct tape.
You have shirts that just say how much you like duct tape for some reason.
Well, it just says duct tape.
Like you assume people are interested in the fact that you have duct tape with you. I guess they're kind of like knives guys too. Like knives guys are another thing.
Knives guys, yeah. And there's always that one knives guy that is like, oh, let me show you this one, but we gotta show it to you in the other room, and it's just like a Hitler Youth knife. Like, yeah, don't like to bring it out.
Yeah, well, I think there's like a one-upsmanship because like back in the day that was just like a butterfly knife or something, and now like they have to like, you know, have some really weird.
This is the one they stabbed Christ with.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking, what if we just put our effort, we quit the podcast, put her efforts into doing CGI for bowling alley screens.
I think that's pretty much locked in. Although that's a good point,
You think
because
it's just like one dude who's just like raking in the money?
no, not only is it just one dude, it is one dude who did them all like 20 years ago, and he just resells the same ones, and he just changes the names.
You know, he probably got
like I don't think it's.
He probably got like, I don't know, like turned down at like Pixar or Disney for an interview, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna make my own fortune.
Exactly. Yeah.
Technically, I have more views than all of you involved. Good for him, though.
Yeah, hopefully they're doing well.
Or he's just like some insane guy.
Yeah, or like I said,
I don't even like bowling. It's a curse.
Actually, I watched the NHL draft the other night. They had it at Sphere in Las Vegas. It's not the Sphere. It's just Sphere, which it's so stupid. Like, you could tell like they told everyone in the NHL broadcast to not say the Sphere.
Yeah.
Like, you have to say Sphere. Like,
wait, is that because
they all made a point of saying it?
What's his name would sue them?
What's his name?
James Cameron.
Oh, maybe.
He's got the Sphere. Was him, right?
I don't know. I think he did the Abyss. I don't know if he did the Sphere. Anyway, so they had it there, and it's this. Have you seen it? Do you know what it looks like? It's a giant sphere with an arena inside for concerts, and the whole thing is covered in LEDs. Mm-hmm. So it's like essentially a giant spherical monitor, inside and out, and it projects. It'll show stuff that's going on outside, inside, and it's basically like a giant globular advertising sign. Anyway, I would like to see some of those bowling alleys
just popped up on that big boy.
Yes, exactly. Get like the World Bowling Championships there or something, and then just don't get new ones. Just get the same ones. Yeah. Just put them on the sphere. Like that VeggieTales. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's the guy who did VeggieTales, and everyone checked out from like religious vegetables, and then he's like, I need to find new work. I guess I'm gonna make terrible.
Is there maybe there is some like religious undertone that we're not getting?
Yeah,
I never thought about them in religious context.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely got to be some like religious crossover between bowling and Christianity. I can't think of it right now, but
yeah, it's out there. There's lanes and pins, just like.
I mean, there's that guy Jesus from Big Lebowski, right?
Oh,
what's his name?
Yeah, you're right. So you know what I've been thinking about
this week, Marcus? What have you been thinking about?
And it's only just because I watched a couple of the movies. Is the Tom Clancy universe? I think Tom Clancy expanded universe. I just like because I was thinking about there's like 13 different Jack Ryan actors, and
I mean that's a good question. Like, Rainbow Six, does that take place in the same universe as
yes.
as like the Jack Ryan?
It does, yeah.
So like
they use Rainbow Six a couple of times. Like I always forget their names. Like I feel bad I forget their names.
I've read I read a lot of Tom Clancy when I was like 13 because when I was 13, 14, I read literally any book that passed in front of me, but none of it stuck. I think I have no, other than like some bits of the Jack Ryan books.
Yeah, because John Clark is in a couple of, like, he's like, John Clark's like the main guy who founds Rainbow Six. But he pops up as like the little character that like helps Jack along the way every once in a while. But the lore wise,
there's like an actual extended universe.
No, there is like a lore wise. Like I think one of them becomes president.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I mean Jack Ryan.
Is it Jack Ryan? Yeah. Protect my family. I'll become president.
So like, I just mean like,
does that mean Skibbity Toilet exists in Jack Ryan?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that, but also I was just thinking, like, I don't know how many like old boomers are all getting all bitchy about Marvel movies, and they're like, at the same time, they had to read all 57 Tom Clancy novels to find out like
the plot. Yeah,
yeah, or like what this character's real motivation was for helping Jack Ryan find the. Though I don't know. I mean, also Tom Clancy used so many ghostwriters and not actual ghostwriters. Just literally just stuck his name on something because someone else wrote it. I don't know how much intricate plotting was involved.
I feel like the
I
first.
remember when he died, like the Orioles for like a full year had his name on their jersey.
Really, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Is he like a big Orioles supporter? He probably owned them.
Apparently, I mean, I don't know, makes sense.
I think
he's like an Annapolis Balmer guy, I guess.
I think he has the record for, at least he did. Maybe Harry Potter already beat him. But it was like the largest payout for rights to publish. And it was like $2.5 million for whatever, Jack Ryan, blah, blah, blah. Bear Claw Eagle.
Wow. Bear Claw Eagle.
Dragon in the puppy den.
Yeah.
A Jack Ryan story.
I don't know. Some of that stuff was heinous. I have not read any of that.
Oh yeah. I think they recently. I think it was Amazon. Yeah, I think it was Amazon tried to kick off a Rainbow Six multiverse, but I don't think enough people were down. They're like, oh, another action.
Do you think
movie?
that's why? Like all the old dudes are all pissy about LGBT people because they're like, they took Rainbow from Rainbow Six. They can't say Rainbow Six anymore. Like Rainbow Six is actually just like the gayest Tom Clancy story.
I mean, I'm sure it's thrown off a lot of young kids. They're like, what does that mean?
I always thought of it like, because you remember like before I read Rainbow Six, I thought of it like I read a lot of those Star Wars novels first.
Yeah.
So there's like Red Squadron, Green Squadron. I was thinking like this must be like the squadron that's above all those. Like there's Red Squad, Green Squad, and there's Rainbow Squad. Like. Like that must be like the best squad.
I mean, they are. That's what they're supposed to be.
Yeah. I'm sure nowadays they'd be called like Nighthawk or something.
Sick.
Nighthawk sick. So like Sam Fisher,
he's part of this universe. Yeah.
Right. So like there is a world in which there could be a story in which Sam Fisher and Jack Ryan like sit down and have coffee together in DC or something. Like, where's the Avengers of Tom Clancy is what I'm saying. Like,
that's Rainbow Six.
Let's get...
Yeah.
Like, just get them all together. They could, like, fight the super space communists or something. I don't know. Like, I don't know. That's what I want to see. We can get Alec... we can just get all the different people who play
all the different Jack Ryans together in a room.
Yeah. Just get Harrison Ford and Alec Baldwin and whatever, and just...
not Matt Damon.
Ben Affleck? Yeah, Ben Affleck. Yeah. Be a squad.
Jack Ryan.
Oh yeah, who plays him in that?
John Krasinski, the guy from The Office.
Oh right, no, I knew that. Oh God, yeah, that's... yeah. Lame.
The guy just tries so hard to break out of that gym role and just... No, sir. You did one thing, and that's it.
Yeah. Ugh. I mean, I get it. Like, no one wants to be typecast, but still. That's the thing. It's like everyone has to be
Chris
like...
Pine was in at one point.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one. No, I guess that's the thing. It's like, there's a lot of, like, talk about... It kind of sucks that, like, a lot of... Like, in order to be a successful male actor, you have to be an action movie male actor, unless you're, like, over 40, in which case you're allowed to be goofy and be a successful male actor. But,
well, because people don't really act anymore. You know?
No.
It's more...
Well, so they do... Either they act like it's a fucking stage, and they're like, this is, like... You know, it's a theater in like Podunk, New Jersey, and they're doing like their favorite Eugene O'Neill play, or they're just talking to a green screen. Like there is no middle ground. Yeah,
that's why there's like so many times where like a movie will come out that I'm just like, it's totally subpar in my opinion, but they're just like, oh my God, that is what acting's called, and it's just like someone just delivering lines without their shirt off. I'm like, oh, how do they do it?
I think also like. Nowadays there's like so much like clout, like not clout, but like they get the clout for acting good in a previous movie, and then everyone like attributes it to the next movie.
Yeah,
you know, like like no one thought Leo DiCaprio was that good in The Aviator when The Aviator came out, but then they're like, oh, he's an amazing actor. So they just kind of like transferred his acting ability to the next movie.
Yeah. I mean, he's good. He's not.
No, exactly. And it's like I watched recently Victoria and Abdul, which was like this. I think it's Abdul. I hope it's Abdul.
Paul Abdul?
Let's make sure that's. Anyway, no, it's a movie about like Queen Victoria, and like she has she has like this relationship. I don't want to say like romantic relationship, but like a Muslim Indian person ends up in her court, and she becomes like really interested in like Muslim India and asks him like a lot of questions, and he starts teaching her Urdu and stuff like that. It's really not very good at all. It's very like cheesy, and I don't know, but like Judi Dench isn't really good. Like I read a lot of reviews of it, and everyone's like, "Oh, this movie's bad except for Judi Dench's performance," and I'm like, I don't think she actually is very good in this. I just think everyone like knows Judi Dench is a good actress, so they just kind of project the fact that she's a good actress onto things she does. Yeah. As opposed to like her always turning in a good performance.
Everyone can't be Tilda Swinton.
Yes. No. Well, actually, to be fair, not everyone can be Tilda Swinton, but Tilda Swinton can be everyone.
I don't know.
This is our second episode mentioning Tilda Swinton.
Well, she's everywhere. What was it? I just watched The Lighthouse. I guess there was some acting in that. It was pretty good. I like that.
Yeah,
that young guy,
but I think that's
James,
also like my point is that like
it's rare.
That's the opposite end of the acting spectrum. Like that's like it's very intimate and it's very quiet and it's very like not movie acting. Like it's stage acting
I can see that.
on film kind of.
Yeah.
Not that that's bad. It's just
people freak out.
You don't get like
median
movie presence actors anymore.
Well, yeah, I think Marvel really killed all that. Because they were just like, what if we took away 80% of the Hollywood's income and just took it all for ourselves? Didn't give everyone else a chance for 10 years. And then,
I mean, I guess the problem is the way it's like movies are distributed and the way movies like it's not just that Marvel movies became the movies that end up in theaters. It's that anything that was below a certain budget became a direct-to-streaming movie.
Because they were like, oh,
from the beginning. It wasn't that Marvel pushed them out. It's just that like there's like if you imagine a certain percentage of people go to see movies every month or whatever, or every week even, and those numbers got shaved off when streaming took over, and so you really are just appeasing the people that are going to go see a movie no matter what, and they just want to see something big. They're not necessarily I think it's I'm not saying that Marvel movies are like great cinema, but I also think that it's like there's a bigger problem than
they were like the opium
superhero movies.
Like addiction's the real problem, but opium's like a terrible drug, and like it comes in real strong. I don't
necessarily know it's that. Like I mean, if you look at it, this is like a cycle that happens a lot in Hollywood. Like this happened in like the 50s with like westerns and like the 60s and 70s.
One thing
with, like,
dominates.
Stupid big musicals and stuff like that, and the big difference is that back in those days, most of those movie studios were just movie studios. Mm-hmm. So if they lost a ton of money on a movie, they could go under. The entire studio could go under. So like, especially like in the 60s with like musicals like Gone with the not Gone with the Wind, but like Hello Dolly and they were just spending tons and tons and tons of movies because like the idea was that the bigger the movie was,
higher rate of return,
less likely you were to
fail,
lose the money. So like that's kind of where we're at now with a lot of these superhero movies, and I don't know.
The budget's Marvel's less than billions.
Yeah, and I don't know that like any of the Marvel movies have like lost a ton of money yet, but
they're
like
starting to. Like the last couple, I think, have lost like millions of dollars.
Well, I mean, I was just thinking more especially like the DC ones.
Oh, the DC,
they tens or hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, they.
And it's but the problem is like those are multimedia companies. Like they can lose money in one spot. Yeah, exactly, and they're like. Even though they're like safer from an income standpoint, they're still more risk averse than they ever have been, because it's just okay, well, we'll just do the same thing we did that made money last time. So until like everything starts to fall apart, there's no impetus for them to change.
Sure, yeah.
So like DC is now having to do that because like everything, or all like Warner Brothers is just eating shit everywhere right now. So like they lost $100 million on a video game. You know, like they can't afford to
take another $100 million loss. Yeah,
exactly. So they're just like, okay, well, you know, we'll do more direct to VHS or direct to streaming Scooby-Doo movies and you know, like just
safe
they're
stuff,
trying to find pennies basically. And Disney doesn't have to do that because like they can lose money on their streaming service and make it up in the parks, or you know, lose money in the theaters and make it up on the streaming service or wherever. Although I imagine at some point that cycle is going to end up with them losing money.
Yeah, I think
somewhere
they're getting real bad with their Star Wars stuff right now. I hear a lot of people are not happy with their Star Wars.
Yeah, it's such a shame too.
Yeah, because
I was pretty psyched for a lot of the stuff that was when it was announced, you know, a year or two ago, and like I don't know, the Ahsoka show was kind of bland. Bad Batch lost its energy after the first season. Mandalorian's even kind of dried up. I think the problem with Marvel is that Disney does well when they take chances, and they don't do well when they don't take chances. Like Disney needs to like make some losses on failures, like, and I think that's kind of what screwed up Disney. Like I think The Last Jedi is kind of like the thing that kind of ruined a lot of stuff. If I want to point to one specific thing, because they did a lot of different stuff in The Last Jedi, and it failed.
People were upset,
terrifically.
They made a lot of bad calls,
and they just. Yeah, but I mean, they took chances. Yeah. Like I appreciate The Last Jedi because it takes chances, even if I don't think those decisions were good ones, and I don't think it's a good movie. But I like it better than I like the Last Skywalker or whatever
the one before that.
After. Like that one is just. No, I like Force Awakens pretty good. I think that was actually. The last one was just.
No, the last one was terrible.
Yeah, it was just mush. Like it's like
somehow Palpatine returned.
I'm like, okay, like fine, but like that's got to be a comedy line, right?
Nope.
Like maybe someone wrote that in the script as like a joke, and they just
got
anyway.
Through, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that there's. Because things are so big now, everyone's afraid to take risks. And the thing is, you're actually starting to see that kind of turn around with, like, if you think about movies that are winning Oscars lately, you have, like, Parasite, Shape
very
of Water,
small.
The Favorite. Yeah, but they're weird.
Yeah,
like,
no, they are not.
Stuff that's really...
Yeah.
And, like, to the point, like, I saw, like, the Yorgos Lanthimos' newest movie, Kinds of Kindness. I saw a television advertisement for a Yorgos Lanthimos movie. Like, you know, the guy who made The Lobster is getting, like, studio money to, like, for advertising and stuff. Like, they're actually pushing it.
Yeah, no.
And it was like, I was watching a hockey game. It wasn't like I was, like,
you weren't on real
late
TV,
at night watching TCM. Yeah. So, like, I think that there is, like, this I mean, like, Everything Everywhere All at Once also, like, they did weird shit and people liked it. Like, I think that...
Well, that's what I'm afraid of, though, is, like, people are going to see that whole... people kind of like weird stuff, but then it's going to be like, it's going to get into like the hands of like WB and like all those people. And then rather than it actually be weird stuff for the sake of being weird, it's like almost like crafted weird, like in front of like a test audience, and then kill that
I
itself.
I definitely think that yeah, I think that's certainly
something. I mean, I think that's already
happening.
Like, you remember, like, I think that's what I never watched the Loki show, but I think that's what that is. It's just like,
no, not really at all. Like the Loki show is more. It's just it's Marvel shit. Like I mean, I like it, but I don't
really care for the Marvel.
It doesn't try and be as weird as it. Yeah, I think it's fine. No. Like I don't think it's aiming for that at all.
Well,
but like, but I mean, like remember in the 90s when like the big indie thing that had like made movies money was black comedies like Tarantino and stuff.
Yeah,
and then you had all those like terrible knockoff black comedies, like crime noir black comedies, and but the thing is, like that was always like the level below it, like the AA level. You'd have like, you'd have your Reservoir Dogs, but you'd have like 8 heads in a body bag or a duffel bag, whatever that movie was. Like there was like that, and there isn't that middle ground tier anymore for those things to be made there.
Oh yeah,
like there's like direct to VHS stuff, which I guess is probably what we'd be talking about. Like there's so much stuff that gets dumped onto streaming now, like it's impossible to keep up with.
No, it is, and like I wonder how hard it actually is to get like just Netflix to slap their logo on your movie and like here's $10,000, fuck it, we'll buy it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think also once you're in like the Netflix like their milieu, like those people,
they're
like,
me,
you can probably just like almost like I got an idea. Yeah, exactly.
They all just kind of milled out.
Yeah, it's like all the people hang out with Adam Sandler. It's like, I've got an idea for a movie. Okay, here's $20 million.
Okay.
Go to Hawaii and film that. But so you didn't play anything this week?
I played some Cookie Clicker. I am so close. I only need 200 septillion more.
I mean, I guess that's one good thing about Cookie Clickers. It teaches you how to read big numbers fast.
Big number. Yeah. I need 200. Yeah, but I'm only making 2.4 sextillion, so not even close. Total cookies baked, 2.9 octillion.
It's a lot of tillions.
Yeah. Reptilian overlords. That's what this game gave me a real vibe of. Reptilian overlords kind of guy.
Yeah. You kind of. I kind of wondered if they intentionally left out like the, like lizard people, aliens, conspiracy theory stuff, because it does kind of feel like they picked it. If we're going back to Aberration Analyst, like kind of picked like the like Vampire the Masquerade creatures, and they left out the sci-fi stuff, which I'm fine with.
Yeah. But. Wait game.
All right. Thanks for listening to the podcast. If you liked it, leave a comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Leave a review on Spotify of the appropriate starage. You can check out our Patreon at the Save State. Patreon.com/the Save State Podcast. Also at the Save. Email us at thesavestatepodcast@gmail.com. That's sorry Mike couldn't be here. He's got another family emergency. Hopefully he's doing well, and we'll see him soon. Glad to have Marcus here to help me hold down the fort.
I've been Marcus.
And I've been Arvid. Bye.
I've been here for like a year now.
Has it been a full year? Wow.
Right. Yeah. Because June last year we did Anaquananox.
Oh, yeah. Damn, that was a year ago? Fuck.
No, it seems like 8.
I know.